Notice of a public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a workshop and a regular meeting on Tuesday, May 20th, 2014 at 5:45 p.m. and at 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of Brownsville City Hall, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Item 1 is a workshop, City of Brownsville Recycling Pilot Program.
Well, I'm going to take the lead on this.
Imagine so.
Without my name's not on it. Hi, I'm Rose Timmer with Healthy Communities of Brownsville, and I wanted to come to the City Commission and advise them that June the 30th is coming up pretty quick. June the 30th is the day that the contract with Allied Waste and the committee that was established to look at the curbside pilot program expires. We have figures for you. We have figures for about 17 weeks. We have been still distributing bins. We still have bins that are being stolen from the sidewalk. And we are still talking to people about participating or not participating. So I don't have fancy pictures or a fancy presentation because it's very simple. This city commission in 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, needs to decide what happens next with the curbside pilot program. You have options. Charlie and Roberto have been given totals. We have analyzed the data. We have about 16 weeks worth of information. Our average curbside recycling rate is about 40.62%. Is that good? Is that bad? Compared to Houston, which we can't really because there it's mandatory, it's single stream in a large bin, they're at 32%. We don't even have the same population. So those reports can be emailed to you, but as the committee, we would like to know what to do July 1st. Are you going to continue the program? If you are, all the legalities involved with that, new contracts, new bidding has to be established, and that's why we're coming to you today. You have options. One option is to say, you know what, it didn't work, we're not going to do it. Let's just keep going back to where we were in December. Those that recycle will go to Elizabeth Street and do what they want to do. The other one is to make it mandatory citywide for everybody with a fee. The other one is to pay as you go. There are some cities, one city in particular is Edinburgh. They have about 23,000 homes. If you want to recycle, you call the waste management, they bring you a bin and they will come and pick up your recycles and you pay them. Very different population, but the recyclable material that they do get is very, what they call pristine, because those people truly want to recycle. And then the other one that we have thought of before is leave Elizabeth where it is, but create a recycling center in each one of your districts that people can participate on a volunteer basis. So those are the options. We basically average 1 truckload a week. We average 1 person a week to pick up the recyclables, sort it on the street, and then take it to the facility that is taking our recyclables. We collected in the 17 weeks about, let me see, where is that? Close to 18,262 pounds of recyclables. And as you know, we're only collecting plastic 1, plastic 2, newspapers, including the bargain book and the aluminum cans. So the reason we're here, we have, of the 1,200 homes that were originally targeted in your data, in your program for United Brownsville, of those 1,200 homes, we actually had 751 that said, yes, we want to participate, please give us a bin. Of those 751, about 315 on the average put out their bins on a weekly basis. We have learned in looking at the numbers that people don't put them out every week. They put them out every other week, which is something we had not thought about, that it's not something we have to do every week. We can do it every other week. The numbers go up and down, up and down, up and down on the averages. So those are the kinds of things that the City Commission needs to look at, and I need to know, I know you cannot make a decision tonight, but it's something that needs to get started talking, because I don't think come July the 1st that this city, in my personal opinion, should just stop doing what it's currently doing.
What I'd like to ask, Rose, is
Yes, sir.
two things. I think the first thing is I would appreciate getting an email with that information that would allow me to study it.
Okay?
The second thing is, I don't know whether that data is sequentially and chronologically put together. In other words, is there a trend? Because I would suspect that 40% on an initial effort is a good percentage. I mean, that, I've seen too many different kinds of efforts. And when you get like a maybe 15 to 20%, you go like, well, maybe this is not where we need to go.
Right.
But a 40% certainly is indicative of at least a willingness, and
Right.
and we have to take care of Mother Earth. You know, sooner or later, once
Exactly.
we start getting that into our system, we will. I was in Houston this weekend. I mean, I saw all those things, and those things are out, and they're curbside, and they're good.
Yes.
And I, from what I understand from that mayor, is that even though it was mandatory, it took a while to get people to use them, but that it's eventually getting better and better. So that's,
Right.
I think the thing we need to take a look at is it trending? And then we got to have all the data in front of us to make sure that, and don't let it wait till July 1.
Right.
We have to do something ahead of time so that we are indicative of, not only what option we're going to use, but
Right.
also what would it cost. Because
Exactly.
I think possibly every other week may work for somebody like the city of Brownsville.
Right, right. And that's something that Charlie and Roberto Luna and I spoke on Thursday. I said, look, I need to go before the city commission, because we cannot wait to July the 1st to decide what you all are going to do and get hit with all this information and say, oh my gosh, what's going on?
No.
So I will email you the data, and you can look at it. If you have any questions, you can call me, and I will gladly explain it to you. Unfortunately, Jude Benavides, who wrote the plan, is quite ill, and he's kind of had to step back. But I have access to him, and he's done some work for us as far as looking at the numbers. But it's something that we need to start talking about now, so that the citizens of Brownsville need to know what's coming or what's not coming, and then we can go from there.
That's a great idea,
Okay?
Rose. Thank you
So
for your
I
presentation.
didn't want to bore you with a lot of, I'm
Rose,
sorry.
If you can look at the city of McAllen, because I know they do mandatory recycling. And I think Edinburgh is the pay-as-you-go.
Yes?
So we can get maybe some stats on that. Those are cities that are comparable in size to
Right.
us.
I did reach out to those people, but I was not able to get that information back. But yes, I did reach out to Edinburgh and to McAllen, and I think they're the two cities that are currently recycling. They recycle a lot more than what we currently are doing. But I will certainly email this to each and every one of you, and then as your questions come up, please feel free to call me, and we will go from there and try to get you the best information you can have so that you can make a decision and let the community know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Let's pray. Father God, once again, we thank you for the many blessings that we're so blessed to have here in this nation. Lord, we thank you for the right to vote. And Lord, we ask you to lead and guide our elections administrator and every person working the polls. Lead and guide the voters. And Lord, give us the leaders that you want us to have for our nation and for our state and for our county and city. Lord, I ask you to lead and guide our mayor, city commissioners here today. Father God, you know the beginning and the end, and so we ask you to show us which ideas we have are workable and which ones are not. Lead and guide us in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And while I'm standing here, I'll say I've been praying for you guys for a long time. You can pray for me. On Saturday, I'm getting married. So,
Congratulations.
I'll have invitations for y'all.
Thank you. Mayor, I'm going to ask for a 4-minute recess so we can begin promptly at 6 o'clock.
Okay, what time is it? Yeah, we don't do something. What do we have, 6 o'clock? We got 4 minutes or what?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? Well, as long as we're not in session, doesn't belong in the mayor's report, but I want to congratulate Commissioner Longoria on his birthday.
Thank you.
And I wish him a very happy birthday. How about a round of applause? Now we'll wait.
Now we'll wait. Thank you.
Just getting older anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
Estela, I think we're going to go out of order. Oh, well, do we have any commissioners' activity update?
Just a reminder, early voting's going on May 19th through the 23rd. if they can go out and vote. There's 4 voting sites in Brownsville. The elections office on Harrison, the public library on Central Boulevard, the public library on Southmost Road, and the Brownie Road for the social services.
I'd like to interrupt the reports because we have the Employee of the Month who has another commitment.
Okay, that'd
And
be
then we'll
great. Yeah.
continue with that.
Okay, we'll be coming right back then, Commissioners.
Employee of the Month and Commendation for Valor in the Line of Duty.
Mayor, members of the commission, thank you for allowing us to present this Employee of the Month first. Our Employee of the Month is having to go to school to
For a
her
daughter?
daughter's also going to receive
Yeah, that's
awards.
great.
So
Top
a special day,
5%?
a special day.
Congratulations.
a special day for April Garza, Employee of the Month for April. As you know, we had the police memorial last Thursday, May 15th. Commissioner Vasquez gave the proclamation. We make it a tradition to try to select one of our finest to be Employee of the Month for this special month that we celebrate in honor of law enforcement. April has been with the city for 9 years, started her career with us in the year 2005. She has moved up in patrolman rank and she's also one of our training officers now. Very proud of her. She sets the example that the lady, it does belong in law enforcement. She follows the tradition of many fine female officers we've had and many officers, period, that we've had. I'm going to present her with the watch, police proof watch. Here it is. The pin.
Thank you, sir.
And the plaque for the month of May 2014 recognition of outstanding service provided to the residents of our city. And April's done some great things for us, and she has gone beyond the call of duty, and I want to have the police chief, Orlando Rodriguez, offer some words and offer her another recognition. So,
Great,
Thank you.
great. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Mr. Kabler, and Mayor, Commissioners. I'm really excited about this day. It's been in the works for some time, where we're going to recognize Officer April Garza for an incident that occurred in December 17th of 2013 on East 17th Street. There was a house fire. April Garza, Officer Garza was first on the scene, and when she arrived, what she encountered were 2 frantic females that were pacing in and out of the house. The house was now engulfed in flames and smoke. And one of the 2 females told her there's another woman inside and she's unconscious. This lady, identified as Rosa, was laying in the hallway of the house. Officer Garza just went into the house, first of all, putting the ladies at ease, telling them to stand by, ordered them out to stand by outside of the house while she went in and checked on the victim. And that time she found another individual inside the house, the brother of the sisters, who was at that point in a futile effort trying to put out the fire with buckets of water. So obviously he had lost his ability to control the situation. Officer Garza found the female. I don't know how she found her, but she was able to find her through thick smoke. Officer Garza at that point was having a difficult time breathing, and so was his male. What Officer Garza then at that point took control of the situation, and she first tried to remove the female herself. She wasn't able to because of the woman's condition, and it took extra effort. The man hadn't been able to take her out himself either. He tried, but he couldn't take her past the hallway. At this point, they're both almost overcome with smoke. Officer Garza then ordered the man to stop what he was doing and help her remove the woman from the house. And at that point, they were able to take the victim out. EMS was able to arrive at the scene, and subsequently, the woman's life was saved thanks to the efforts of Officer Garza. I will also say this: not only did she save that woman's life, she probably saved the man's life, because it was a matter of seconds before he was going to be overcome by the smoke. So we commend Officer Garza, and we have a citation for her, and it reads: Officer April Garza, it is my distinct honor to recognize you for the manner in which you handled yourself in the performance of your duties on December 17, 2013. On that day, you had cause to respond to a house fire at 2215 East 17th Street. Upon your arrival, you were met by 2 frantic females that were pacing back and forth in and out of the structure. You took immediate action in getting these women to safety, and you quickly learned that there was yet one more female in the residence and that she was on the floor unconscious. You immediately, without regard to your own safety, entered the residence in an attempt to remove the third victim. You too were overcome by smoke and found it difficult to not only breathe, but to find the victim in order to help her. You quickly took control of the situation, and with the assistance of another individual, you removed the victim, Rosa Garcia, from the residence. Rosa Garcia was then given medical assistance and subsequently recovered from her ordeal. Officer Garza, your ability to remain calm in an emergency situation, the courage you displayed to enter the residence and risking your own life to save another, your commitment to serve, in my opinion, and those of your peers and supervisors, clearly resulted in the preservation of life. And for going above and beyond the call of duty, I hereby commend you for a job well done.
Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I want to say thank you to the city manager, mayor, city commissioners for honoring me here at the city commission meeting. I also want to say thank you to Chief Rodriguez, my patrol commander Etheridge, patrol lieutenant Mascorro and Massey, and my direct patrol supervisor, Sergeant Ray Ordonez, for their acknowledgement and recognition. I'm going to begin by quoting a phrase by Amelia Earhart. The most difficult thing is the decision to act, and the rest is merely tenacity. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect to be commended for an act of valor in the line of duty. In 2005, I applied and was hired with the City of Brownsville as a police officer. I swore to protect and serve this community. I wanted to be a community leader and try to make a difference in my community. Never did I expect to marry into this department. Literally, I am married to this department because I met my husband, Sergeant Sergio Perez here. And I say this because we both take and share our work stories at home. And this was one of the stories. On that day, he told me that he was so proud of me. And all I could think and say is I was just doing my job. And if I was put in that situation again, I would not hesitate to act and would do it again for anyone in a heartbeat. Although we police officers who join this profession don't ask to be recognized, when it does happen, it does feel wonderful. Most, if not all of us, are happy with a pat on the back by our fellow officers and our supervisors telling us job well done. But the biggest satisfaction for me in this particular situation is knowing that I was able to save someone's life. In closing, we all know that policing is a male-dominated profession, and I am one of the handful of female police officers in this department. Being a female officer, sometimes I feel we have to prove ourselves more to our male counterparts and prove to them that women can do the job as good, if not much better than they do. With this in mind, I want to say to my daughters, I have 3 beautiful daughters, especially my oldest, who's also going to be recognized at her school for being top 5% at her school.
All right.
Don't ever let anyone discourage you into accomplishing anything because you're a girl. If there was any doubters, I proved them wrong. Thank you again, all, and I will continue to serve this community and the city of Brownsville to the best of my abilities. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, we can continue with Commissioners' activity update if there are any.
I'm thrown off by that. I'm sorry. That was beautiful. I have two things that I wanted to say. This weekend on Sunday, I attended a book signing at the Brownsville Historical Association. There is a book, it's called Never Enough Time. It's by an author. She's from Brownsville. Her name is Crystal Alanis Linder. And it's an absolutely beautiful story about a girl who lives in Brownsville, and she somehow time travels to the 1800s, right when we were being founded. And so it's pretty much historically accurate, and it's a really cool book. I recommend if you have teenagers, anything like that, or even yourself. I love the book. So definitely, it's called Never Enough Time. You can buy it at the Historical Association on Washington Street, and definitely worth your time. Second thing I wanted to say, also the Brownsville Historical Association is looking for sponsorship donations for our Old City Cemetery, for flags that will be placed on the graves of our veterans that are buried within our city cemetery. So far that we know of, there's about 318 soldiers, veterans, that are buried there. And what we're basically trying to do is raise either money or flags so that a flag will be draped over, or not draped over, but placed at each grave site on Memorial and Veterans Day to honor our founding soldiers. So definitely, if you're interested or you can contribute and you can help, contact Craig Stone. He's at the Brownsville Historical Association. You can phone him or stop in, and we would be very grateful for that. It's a very important cause, and it's important to honor our veterans. The third thing, geez, I'm still like moved from Officer Garza. I just wanted to take a real quick moment. My son Andrew had an award ceremony this morning, and I was meeting with a constituent, and I missed him by 2 minutes. My son was awarded excellence for his outstanding knowledge of computers and excellence for his outstanding knowledge of language arts. And I'm so proud of him. He's a 7-year-old little guy, and I just wanted to give him a shout out here at my meeting. So many times my job eats into my children's time, and I'm so grateful to my city and my children, and I just wanted to acknowledge him. I know he's watching at home. Hi, Andrew. But yes, I'm very, very proud of him, and yes, so thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? Okay, we'll go to proclamations.
Okay. Proclamations. Homer Hanna High School, keep Brownsville beautiful.
John, would you?
Do you have a copy of that?
Okay.
You have it?
Jessica, I believe you have that.
Okay. What is it for? Hannah, right? Okay. Okay. Are they gonna come up? You guys wanna come over here? Congratulations. You wanna stand right here? Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, I went to Hannah too. Congratulations.
It's one in the middle. Okay.
As alumni of Homer Hanna myself, it is an absolute honor to award this proclamation to these Eagles. Let me go ahead and read it. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, commending Homer Hanna High School for its work with Keep Brownsville Beautiful. Whereas during the 2013-2014 school year, the Homer Hanna High School, in cooperation with Keeping Brownsville Beautiful, completed in and won the 2013 Recycling Challenge, in which the student volunteers collected more plastic bottles than all of the other schools in the competition. And whereas the Hanna High School Recycling Force, made up of students and staff volunteers, organized a school-wide effort and were able to engage in their entire campus to join in their mission. Their efforts also drew in support from parents and local businesses. Whereas by the time the contest, which ran the entire month of October 2013, ended, the group had single-handedly collected 161,400 plastic bottles. You guys, that's a lot of bottles. Whereas, the extremely dedicated and hardworking student volunteers participating in this effort were led by Homer Hanna High School Principal Terry Alarcon and recycling team leader sponsors Ms. Nelda Rogers. Now therefore, we the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by the virtue of authority vested in the charter of said city, do hereby commend the members of Homer Hanna High School on its triumph in winning the recycling challenge and thereby helping to keep Brownsville beautiful. Done on this 20th day of May, Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission. Do you guys want to say a few words? Yes. Is Miss Rogers here? Somebody?
Thank you for the award. I know this is just a fraction of the many students that participated in collecting plastic bottles. They did do a lot of work, and I'm really proud of them, and we'll be back next year, I hope.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great job. That's a lot of bottles.
Our next proclamation is Lopez High School for Keep Brownsville Beautiful. Lopez High School?
Why don't you all come up here? That'd be good. He's gonna wanna take a picture. Okay. Center, right
Ready?
there.
Okay. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, commending Lopez High School for its work with Keep Brownsville Beautiful. Whereas during the 2013 through 2014 school year, the Lopez High School, in cooperation with Keep Brownsville Beautiful, competed in and won the 2013 Recycling Challenge, in which the student volunteers collected the second most plastic bottles than all other schools in the competition. And whereas the Lopez High School recycling crew, made up of student and staff volunteers, organized a school-wide effort and were able to engage the entire campus to join their mission. Their efforts also drew in support from parents and local businesses. And whereas by the time the contest, which ran the entire month of October 2013, ended, the group had single-handedly collected 135,350 plastic bottles. And whereas the committed and diligent student volunteers participating in this effort were led by Lopez High School Principal Dalia Aguilar and recycling team leader / sponsor Mr. Oliver Love. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of said city, do hereby commend the members of the Lopez High School on its recycling crew on its achievement in placing second in the recycling challenge and thereby helping to keep Brownsville beautiful. Done on this 20th day of May 2014, signed Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Y'all are awesome. Congratulations.
We are here from Keep Brownsville Beautiful on the behalf of Lopez. We just wanted to congratulate everyone that came here, came to volunteer for the event. We are so proud of all of the students that volunteered. They are making an effort to help Brownsville, even if it's just one bottle at a time. And as volunteers ourselves, we are just so proud and so happy for all of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next proclamation is Homer Hanna High School Skills USA.
Mayor, right before we begin, I'd like to take this opportunity. I know we have an item coming up, but I do want to recognize the members of the Brownsville Independent School Board that are joining us here tonight, Mr. Cesar Lopez, Ms. Lucy Longoria, and Ms. Katy Presas, and our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Carl Montoya. Welcome.
Stand in the middle, girls. Go all the way to the middle.
Right before I begin reading this proclamation, as I was prepping for it, I noticed that our sponsor's name, Ms. Norma Maldonado, was left out. So, Ms. Maldonado, thank you for everything that you've done with the ladies, and to Ms. Alarcon, of course, for supporting you. But thank you for everything that you've done for these young ladies and men as you've gone to competition. Congratulations to you. Thank you. The following is a proclamation of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville recognizing Hanna High School as Skills USA state champions. And whereas 7 Homer Hanna High School students participated in Skills USA state-level competition held in Corpus Christi at the American Bank Convention Center. And whereas Homer Hanna High School students who participated in the Skills USA state competition were Valeria Garcia Sr., Reina Lopez Sr., Yvette Piñales Sr., Jessica Galindo Sr., Eva Garza Jr., Alyssa Puente Jr., and Daniel Quick Jr. And whereas, as a state competition, these students competed in a preliminary round against 13 teams from within the state, with only the top six teams advancing to the final round, where this amazing group of students placed first at the district level and advanced to state. And whereas only the teams that achieved first place in state competition advanced to the Skills USA National Leadership and Skills Conference. This group of students will compete at the national level at the H. Rowe Bartle Hall and Municipal Auditorium in the Kansas City Convention Center on June 22nd through June 28th, 2014. This is a multi-million-dollar event that occupies a space equivalent to 16 football fields, with more than 15,000 people attend this incredible conference, showcasing career and technology education students. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby recognize Hanna High School students for their successful participation in Skills USA competition. And further, we congratulate them for bringing honor and recognition to their high school and to the City of Brownsville. And it's done this 20th day of May, 2014, and it's signed Antonio Martinez, Mayor of the City, and the City Commission. Congratulations.
Hello, good evening. On behalf of my team and my advisor, we would like to thank the City of Brownsville for the amazing opportunity we received today of being recognized here. After 3 years of numerous practices every day, morning, during lunch, and after school, we finally got the privilege to advance to nationals in Kansas City this June. So, like I said, we would like to thank you for this wonderful experience. Thank you, Commissioner Longoria, for believing in us. And it's an honor to represent not only Brownsville, not only Hanna, not only the Valley, but the state of Texas. So thank you.
Congratulations.
And we have one more, Youth
Sure.
Ambassador Program.
I'm going to go to the bottom.
Youth Ambassador Program.
It's a very special honor that we have our superintendent, Dr. Carl Montoya. We also have 3 board members with us, and Ms. Evelyn Cantu.
the photos.
We have Ms. Kathy Presas and Ms. Lucy Longoria and Mr. Cesar Lopez. Yes. Okay. I'd like to welcome you all here to our commission chamber. It's an honor to have you here with your students. It says a lot. You all have been so supportive from day one. I know I attended a few meetings with Dr. Montoya, and it is just such a good feeling to know that you all truly, truly have our students' backs. And we'd like to welcome you here and just thank you for doing that, because it's very special that you all are so involved and dedicated and go above and beyond. And this is a beautiful program because it joins the city. We believe in you all just as much as BISD believes in you. So this program was the birth of something very special, and we're just very happy to have you all here. So it's a proclamation of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing the Brownsville Independent School District's Youth Ambassador Program. Whereas the City of Brownsville and the Brownsville Independent School District Municipal Youth Ambassador Program have partnered to serve BISD students from all of the high schools with education and leadership opportunities since the fall of 2013. And whereas the City of Brownsville's Public Health, B Metro, Parks and Recreation, Police Departments mentored 24 students in one cohort, whereby students successfully graduated from high school and enrolled in a higher education institutions with learning skills that will prepare them for the future. Whereas partnerships between the City of Brownsville, local government organizations, the University of Texas at Brownsville, and local businesses offer an effective way to support youth within the community. Whereas mentoring has become an effective strategy used by schools to increase student attendance and academic performance. And whereas collaborative mentoring programs that are supported by the entire community, locally and statewide, are more visible, therefore able to serve more youth. And whereas the Brownsville Independent School District partnered with the City of Brownsville to provide mentors to at-risk students, to provide them with encouragement, motivation, hope, and consistent adult role models. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by the virtue of the authority vested in the charter of said city, and on behalf of all of our citizens, do hereby recognize the Brownsville Independent School District for its Youth Ambassador Program and for its proactive approach to provide mentors to at-risk students, thus providing them with encouragement, motivation, hope, and consistent adult role models to help them prepare for their future. Done on this 20th day of May, 2014, Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission.
We have one student who's going to speak, I believe. I've already said that.
I'm here on behalf of the entire Youth Ambassador Program to share my experience and give thanks to the people who made this program possible. Being part of the Youth Ambassador Program has really served as a strong foundation to our awareness of the departments that keep Brownsville running. We as a program, as a first cohort, have been taken under the wing of 4 departments that have really contributed to the program and given up their time to be involved in this program. We've had the participation of the Brownsville Metro, we've had Parks and Recs, the Health Department, and the program that I have taken the most part in, which is Brownsville PD. I have personally had the privilege to interact with some of the people who take a huge part in these departments, such as Lieutenant Raul Rodriguez, Commander Pascual, Mr. McCoy from the Public Library Department, and Mr. Alex Lorio from Brownsville Metro. It has been great to meet these leaders and actually learn from them and the knowledge they have gained throughout their years of working with the City of Brownsville. We have all had a taste in leadership, and I'm sure that each and every one of us will grow and mature from this program to one day actually become leaders ourselves. I want to thank, on behalf of the entire Youth Ambassador Program, our Mayor, Tony Martinez, our city commissioners, our superintendent, Dr. Montoya, who's present here, some of our board members who are also present here. And as you can see, we're all here to ask that this program continue to be supported and teach students the leadership that I have had the privilege to learn. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next item is consent agenda items A through C.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 6, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2014-1570-B, an ordinance of the City of Brownsville amending Chapter 310 Grants, Article 2, Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee, Sections 310.26, Purpose, Section 310.27, Composition and Term of Office, Section 310.28, Organization and Staff, and 310.30, Meetings, and dealing with related matters.
That was a mouthful. Mayor, Commissioners, basically what this ordinance is doing, or what we're doing with this ordinance, is to make sure that the roles and responsibilities of the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee are laid out very clearly, because previously they were kind of hazy, I guess. We inputted term limits of 2 years, and we made sure that to put in that the committee will only be active during our funding cycle for HUD, which is really when we need them anyway. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have any questions.
This is a public hearing. Any other comments from the public?
Move to close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7.
Item number 7, public hearing and action on the 2007-2011 one-year action plan for the HUD Home Investment Partnership Program.
Good evening. My name is Ana Hernandez. I'm the home manager, home grant manager. And I'll be presenting on the second substantial amendment to the fiscal year 2007-2011 annual action plans. And just to provide you with a summary. Can you move to the next slide?
They're moving it for you.
Oh, thank you. Just to provide you with a summary, the City of Brownsville is an entitlement city with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and a participating jurisdiction with the Home Investment Partnership Program. The first substantial amendment was initially approved on August 30th of last year. And the purpose of that amendment was to reallocate program funds. You know, there was a surplus of funds at that time. This second substantial amendment, we'll be discussing it also again, and it will be an amendment to the 2007-2011 action plans. And this is required as part of our current citizen participation plan. We also need to do a public notice and public hearings under this plan. Next slide. So next, the following are specific scenarios for which a substantial amendment may be warranted per the city's CPP, which is the Citizen Participation Plan, and 24 CFR Part 91. The city will amend its approved plan whenever it makes one of the following decisions. First, to make a change in the goal, priority, and activity, to carry out an activity using funds from any program covered by the consolidated plan, or to change the purpose, location, scope, or beneficiaries of an activity included in the annual action plan. Further, a substantial amendment to the CPP or annual action plan is defined by the city as a transfer between two or more plan activities that is greater than 50% for ESG program funds and 40% actually for home program funds and 20% for CDBG program funds. To ensure program compliance, the proposed activities will be administer in accordance to the 2013 Home Final Rule requirements. The proposed funding allocations will provide for additional single-family new housing construction activities in the city of Brownsville. And we have make sure that we have everything in line, and we have held multiple meetings with local community housing development organizations, also known as CHODOs, as well as consulted with our technical assistant provider, Cloudburst Group. The city has recently revised checklists, agreements, and existing policies and procedures for all programs to ensure that we are compliant with HUD requirements. As part of the requirements associated with the substantial amendment, we need to provide notice of public hearings and requests for public comments. And they were advertised in the Brownsville Herald on Tuesday, April 15. And there's a 30-day comment period ending on Wednesday, May 14, 2014, which is has already, it's coming up or it has already passed. The notice was provided in both English and Spanish. And a summary of the comments received at the public hearings and during the public comment period, along with the city's responses, are going to be included in the substantial amendment that is going to be submitted to HUD. With this substantial amendment, we're proposing two changes. The first change is to modify the current citizen participation plan, specifically the substantial amendment section, and I'll discuss in greater detail about this change in the next slide. The second change is to increase funding that will be allocated to 3 community housing development organizations for single-family new housing construction. The 3 CHODOs that we're currently working with are the Architecture for Charity of Texas, also known as ACT, Brownsville Affordable Homeownership Corporation, and the Community Development Corporation of Brownsville. The proposed change is about $1.7 million or close to $1.8 million. And this funding is made available through Home and Title Program funds, as well as program income generated from home program activities. Now with the first proposed change, current language reads as a substantial amendment to the consolidated plan or annual action plan is defined by the city as a transfer between 2 or more plan activities that is greater than 50% for ESG program funds. And for this purpose of this presentation, we'll be focusing on home. It's actually 40%. And what we're proposing is to basically read as for home, an increase or decrease greater than $100,000 or 40% of an activity allocation, whichever is greater, as listed in a published one-year action plan or amended. And this is just to provide us with more flexibility. There's actually inconsistent language in the current plan, so and we have had to do frequent amendments, so this would actually deter us from doing that. Next slide, please. Okay. For the second proposed change, we are proposing to increase the new single-family construction budget or allocation. This was initially approved as part of the first home substantial amendment submitted on August 30th. And this came about upon underwriting and of the 3 CHODO projects or proposed projects. So the city identified the need for additional funds to accommodate the increased budgets that are now including construction financing, and we have increased the number of units constructed and the increase in cost of materials. CHODOs currently, well, the proposed number is that they will be building about 34 new homes. And this again aligns with the consolidated plan goals of providing gap financing assistance and promote affordable housing opportunities. As part of the amendment process, the City of Brownsville must provide for and encourage public participation, emphasizing involvement by low and moderate income people, especially those living in low and moderate income neighborhoods. The comment period started on April 15, and any interested parties may submit their written comments to our director, Stephanie Reyes, to the address that we have listed. In addition to the 30-day comment period, 2 public hearings have been scheduled. The first occurred on April 30th at the BCAC meeting, the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee meeting. And then the second hearing will be today, City Commission. Finally, the substantial amendment will be submitted to HUD on May 21st, and HUD has 30 days to comment or request additional information. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
This is also a public hearing. Any comments?
Move to close?
Oh, wait, we
Wait,
have
wait,
a
wait,
comment.
wait. I think you have a comment on this one?
Mr. Fisher.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dutch Fisher. This is a wonderful program. I personally and my company have not been very involved in this, but what I came up to see is the little bit of involvement we have had has gone seamlessly. The thing that I like about this, in lieu of purchasers in the low to middle income range, is that these applicants and the people that end up in these homes are very well educated. There's a whole process they go through to learn responsibility, and that's why I'm so far behind it. We wouldn't have so many people upside down in homes and people living in homes that shouldn't be living in homes if we had more programs like this. In closing, there's one last thing I'd like to say. It looks as if our new director of HUD on the federal level is going to be the mayor of the San Antonio. Tony, please stay here down in Brownsville. Don't go anywhere.
Move to close? Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 8, public hearing and action on the 2011 and 2012 one-year action plan for the HUD Emergency Solutions Grant Program funding allocation for the Homeless Management Information Systems component.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. I'm here today my name is Juliet Denise Lash from the Office of Grant Management. I'm the Social Service Coordinator. I'm here today to present the public substantial amendment to the 2011-2012 one-year action plan. We are proposing to make a change in the scope, which is why we're required to have a public hearing today. The City of Brownsville is an entitlement city in the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Community Development Block Grant, Emergency Solutions Grant, and Home Program. Public notices and public hearings are required for substantial amendments to the city's one-year action plan. As per the Citizens Participation Plan, the city will amend its approved plan whenever it makes one of the following decisions. In our case, we're proposing to change the purpose, the scope, and the beneficiaries will be impacted as well. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Our proposed changes are to decrease the HMIS, Homeless Management Information System. That is a component in the Emergency Solutions Grant. That is actually a software. They provide funding for a software that the subrecipients are required to use to document the history of their clients. There's only so much you can charge for that particular activity, I suppose, and it's been known to have a funding left over. If we don't make any changes or we don't spend this money right now, we will be in jeopardy of getting this funding deobligated by HUD. So we are proposing to decrease the HMIS for the fiscal year 2011 in the amount of $1,750, and for the fiscal year of 2012 in the amount of $2,000. This funding was initially set aside to hire a technical assistant or a TA assistant to come down to Cameron County, actually. They were going to partner up with the City of San Benito and the City of Harlingen to hire this individual to provide technical assistance to all these subrecipients that are required to utilize this software. It never happened, so due to the lack of applicants for this part-time position, or this HMIS representative, we have all that money remaining. We are proposing to decrease the rapid rehousing funding in the amount of $879.48 due to the lack of subrecipient capacity to administer such program funding. The agency that had this funding awarded wasn't able to finish it. So what we're proposing to do is allocating the funding to change the scope and turn it and convert it into homelessness prevention funds for those current fiscal years, the 2011 and 2012. And the total amount would be $5,402.52. The proposed activity is currently designed to assist low-income individuals who are in jeopardy of being evicted from their place in which they are currently residing.
the only one subrecipient organization that I currently have that is providing the service already ran out of funding. So we are proposing to, there's a very high demand with homelessness prevention. We do have rapid rehousing, but homelessness prevention right now is in a higher demand. So we're proposing to reallocate that funding, convert it into homelessness prevention, pending HUD's approval, of course, and yours. Next slide, please. We underwent a 30-day comment period, which began on Monday, April the 14th, and it ended on Tuesday, May the 13th. We've had 2 public hearings. Our first public hearing was on April the 16th in 2014 at 6 p.m. at the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee, and our second one is here today. Pending your approval, we will be submitting or hoping to submit the proposed substantial amendment to HUD hopefully tomorrow.
Okay. Any other public comment?
Move to close.
Uh-oh, we have somebody running.
We have a runner.
You better do it while you're still single.
Yeah. Dutch had mentioned with the other program that the people who receive are well-educated in how to go forward. And working with both homeless and almost homeless people quite a bit, that seems to be the thing that's lacking. And I don't know if, I mean, at this late date, that may not be something that can be added to this program, but it's something I would like to see us be looking at in the future. When people receive funds, if they can also receive some education on what'll keep them from being back in the same place.
I think we're kind of on a timeline here.
Yeah, I understand
And
that. So
but
if-
anyway, but make sure that that comment is given to Stephanie and that group right there, okay?
They may already be doing that, but not to
Okay.
my
I think
knowledge.
they
so.
do that.
Visit
They
with
do
them.
do that.
They're
Yes, they do.
they're very good at what they do,
Yes.
okay? So,
Move to close.
Second?
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 9, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2014-011-S to allow apartments H classification and a dwelling light retail G classification for Block 9 of Clara Bennett subdivision located near Clara Bennett and Thompson Drive.
Mayor, City Commission, this is a case, this is 511, and here is the Olmito Water Supply facility, here in where the number 7 is. This is a proposed tax credit project, and I think there's a site plan attached to this. If you can go to the site plan. Site plan. And this is what that project would look like if it's awarded. And you have supported this project by a resolution in the past. And so this is, I think it's about 120 to 150 units. And they are proposing to pave Clara Bennett for their, up until their property limits, and also Thompson Drive. So that's all part of this project. So Planning and Zoning voted unanimously to support this application, and we ask for your approval tonight.
Ramiro, just a quick question on the pavement on the roads. Both of those roads, they're going to be part of the guidelines that we have with regards to the
Sidewalks.
size, the sidewalks, and all that.
Yes. This facility will be all multifamily well, everywhere now, commercial, residential, and multifamily. Sidewalks are required, so they will have to meet all city standards as far as paving these roads.
Public comment?
Move to close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2014-015-S to allow light retail G classification and a general retail G classification for Lot 7 of Block of 777 Commercial Subdivision located near Old Highway 77 and Hay Street.
This is a specific use permit for 7th Commercial, and If you go to site plan, in order to sell these type of structures, which are sheds, you need a 7th commercial. So we decided to go with a specific use for this piece of property that's specifically only to sell, only for this use. So it is a retail component. You know, I've seen them in other places along the expressway. They're not selling like mobile homes. They're just selling sheds for
Like
either
storage sheds?
Yeah, like storage sheds for outdoors in your yard or on a ranch somewhere or something. So in order to do that, they needed a specific use permit. So planning and zoning didn't see an issue with this, given that it is specifically for this use. Once this use goes away, or if the business doesn't make it, then it reverts back to 4th commercial. So we asked for your
What
approval.
other businesses are around there?
Go to the area. So you see over this is 1732. So this is the Stripes. There's a Subway, and there's a variety of there's a Wing Barn in here, and Mr. Taco. This is a shopping center, and this is just down the road from that.
A bunch of good stuff in that shopping center.
Okay, public comment, anyone?
Move to close?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Move to
Move to
approve?
approve.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2014-017 to rezone from dwelling G classification to general retail G classification for 8.6 acres of Block 1 of Media Luna subdivision located near Lower Nile Drive and Hospital Boulevard.
Mayor, City Commission, this is a piece of property that's, so here is Dr. Guajardo's office, and further up is the doctor's hospital. And there's a lot of medical-related facilities on this street, on both sides of the street. So this owner is wanting to rezone to 4th commercial in the back over here. And as you can see, everything else is 4th commercial. So planning and zoning voted unanimously once again to support this application, and we ask for your approval tonight.
Any public comment?
Move to close?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 12, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2014-019 to rezone from dwelling Z classification to professional office G classification for lots 13 through 15 of Block 1 of Naranja Vista subdivision located near Anacua Street and North Expressway 7783.
Mayor, City Commission, this is once again 1732. So the Stripes is right here, and the last case was down here somewhere. This is a first commercial, so it's going from residential to first commercial, and they want to set up a bail bonds office that would feed off of the jail, which I believe is right here. City Commission, Planning and Zoning looked at this. They also agreed that this was a good use for the area, given that it's on 1732.
It's surrounded by dwellings though, right? Is there any other businesses that are
There,
on
it's
that
right
big
here.
block?
This area right here is also a business related, and I believe it is also a bail bonds office.
Oh, okay.
But this other area, the one in blue is the one that you're saying that is,
Right.
that's a bail bonds company?
I believe, yes.
But that one doesn't have any dwellings immediately around it, does it?
Yeah, the blue is actually, I'm sorry, I'm getting a correction. The blue is a tortilleria, and everything else around here is a dwelling. So this is the same thing. So you're starting to see a pattern here along this street, Anacua, or 1732, Naranjo. There's, I think, like 3 names for it. That is going a little bit commercial. So first commercial is neighborhood residential. That's what it's meant to do. So planning and zoning said, they supported the application.
And did you circulate it amongst the owners of that, and you didn't have any opposition?
Absolutely. We sent it to 200 feet. That's required by state law. So, and no opposition. Nobody showed up at the meeting.
Okay, any public comment?
Motion to close?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Motion to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 13, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2014-020-S to allow apartment G classification and a general retail G classification for 18.24 acres out of Block 5 of RB Renfro subdivision located near Laredo Road and FM 802.
This is another case on Laredo. This is Laredo and FM 802, and this is 281 here. The stripes is right here. So the developer would like to leave the part along FM 802 as commercial, fourth commercial, which is what he has now, and then so that's about 5 acres, and then the rest of the lot is what he wants to rezone for or specific use for apartments. The proposal is for 104 market rate apartments. This is not a tax credit project, and this is not anything with relation to housing. This is private investment, and I'm told that the rents will be about $1,000 or more, depending on the size of the apartment and whatnot. So planning and zoning looked at this. They thought it was a good use of the front part of 802, which stays commercial, and then apartments between the commercial and the residential is always a good pattern. So I see you have a question.
Well, I have a concern because I go often through that road, and for the apartment size that we're looking at, my concern is with that road, isn't it gonna have to be expanded to accommodate all the traffic that's going through there if we have apartments in that? And is that gonna be something that the city's gonna have to pay for?
That's a lot of children.
I have had some calls about this. I know that some commissioners receive calls about this, and I know there are people in the crowd that want to speak in public hearing about that very issue. So I'll open it up to public hearing, and then we'll answer any questions.
Can you reorient us one more time about which roads are which?
Laredo Road.
Okay.
And Laredo ends up at Morrison.
Okay.
Which will eventually provide flow for that traffic, but right now Morrison is blocked because of West Rail. So that's why a lot of people come down Laredo. Once Morrison opens, the traffic situation will be a lot less in this area. So once Laredo and 802, there's a church here, and this is 281. So this is a public hearing.
Mr. Sayers?
It's behind the Home Depot.
Mayor and Commissioners, my name is Richard Sayas. I'm here I'm the president of the HOA of Costa del Sol subdivision. Can I have that pointer? How does it work? This one? The way it works right now is this is 802. This is Laredo Road. This is Costa del Sol subdivision. This is Old Spanish Trail subdivision. The Thornton homes, DR Thornton homes are being built back here. A lot of traffic and pressure is being put on Laredo Road. As it is right now, what they're trying to do is change the light commercial to an apartment complex area. They want to exit right here onto Laredo Road. As it is right now in the morning, it's very, very difficult getting out of that area. It's extreme amount of pressure of traffic. As stated by the commissioner, it is very, very heavy traffic in the morning. Very difficult to get out of there. I have several people here in the audience. I'd like for them to stand up. Gente que están en oposición de este. They're people from our subdivision and from the surrounding areas. They're all in opposition of this change. The major rationale is, when we bought our properties, it was bought with the idea that it was supposed to be a commercial zoning right there. We weren't expecting for an apartment complex to be put right across. When it went to planning and zoning, nobody showed up because they only give notice to 200 feet from the property line. 200 feet from the property line, nobody got notices on Costa del Sol except for a few people along this area, and some of those, there's very few homes right along the Resaca. The owners of these 3 properties, because there's a Resaca that goes right along here. The owners are here. Here they are. And they're also in opposition. They were probably the only ones that showed up to planning and zoning, so planning and zoning didn't really get a good feedback of what was in opposition. Besides the traffic, I want to point out that as it stands, Costa del Sol is 40 acres, and in 40 acres you have 78 houses. So there's a wide spread of land, and the cost per land will be extremely affected by this. As is,
Trying to put an aerial on.
sorry?
It's making me dizzy.
Where are we at? There's an apartment complex, is it too? Okay. There's a condominium complex over here that has 10 condominiums over 2.5 acres. And here they're planning to put 107 apartments in about 12 acres. So they're really gonna flood the area. It's gonna definitely affect our housing prices. It's gonna put too much traffic in the area. The whole purpose of zoning, and when we purchased these properties, it was to envision some retail going there. It's just totally against what the purposes of zoning is for. There's been no studies on how that would affect Laredo Road and the pressures that would be there from traffic. So what I'm here to do is ask the commission to deny the change.
Thank you, Mr. Science.
Thank you.
Ramiro, have there been any studies, like 107 apartments is a lot of traffic? Did we go over that? Did we look into how much pressure that's going to put on a two-way street?
We have not. They didn't turn in a traffic impact analysis. We don't require it at a specific use. So they did not.
We have other areas that we've had similar developments that had comparable streets. How has the traffic flow been in those other areas?
I mean, my opinion is that once Morrison Road opens, a lot of people will take Morrison Road. It's the same thing that would happen at the Brownsville Country Club.
Correct, that's what I was saying.
Once that Morrison Road opened, it really just alleviated what it used to bottleneck on 802. So we do know that the West Rail will hopefully be done by the end of this year. And therefore that will go through that process, and that will allow us to break open that opening on Morrison Road. So we do know that that's coming and that's in the pipeline. So I suspect that that'll alleviate a lot of the concerns of the neighborhood.
And in fact, once we open that area, this neighborhood will have access to the trail system.
Well, they will have access to all the retail activity on Morrison.
But it also connects.
And also, I mean, there are bike trails on Laredo Road already. And it will, yes, of course.
It'll connect to eventually, that's
To Morrison
to
Trail.
Morrison Road, the trails, which
Yes.
will eventually lead you to the trail network. And they'll have better access to the trail system.
Yes.
I personally would like to see a traffic impact study because as it is an extremely congested area. And I think the addition of, 100 apartments is a lot.
Well, I know it's a lot, but we've had other areas that we had similar concerns and they turned out really good. I mean, we had the citizens from over there at the country club, was it? That they had concerns with the congestion and stuff.
Yeah.
And once the Morrison Road in the back opened up, the traffic flow through there is really not as severe as they had first anticipated. And so I'm I'm thinking that this is a similar development that will
And
benefit this community as well, to link them to the trail system and stuff.
the only thing that I'm going to put a caveat out there is, even though we've had all these meetings on the West Rail, and we've had timelines and we've had celebrations set up, I mean, we've had a lot of questions, and I'm not counting on the fact that we're going to be done by this year, because the governments are involved. Mexican government, there's the X-ray machine that has to be moved. We finally got the funding after 2 years. That thing is going to take about a year to get done. I know what Union Pacific said today, but I'm telling you what, I've been around for 2.5 years on that West Rail project, and we still, you know, as much as I'd love that thing to happen tomorrow, it has not had a smooth ride. So I'd be kind of careful of, you know, until you get that done, then you might want to revisit it. That's my only caveat to
That's
it.
how I feel.
I agree. I think that planning and zoning needs to hear these folks' concerns and look at both options. What if Morrison Road does open, and what if it doesn't? And they should be prepared to make that decision either way.
Ramiro, in looking at the, at the site plan, there is, the only entrance and exit is the one coming from Laredo?
Yes, you can put the
Okay.
site plan.
And then they have their proposed commercial in the front, correct?
Yeah, so this is a good example of, I mean, this is the site plan. So they have this is 802, they have the commercial development along 802, and this is the Laredo Road entrance. I mean, on this diagram, it seems a lot like the one at Costa del Sol. And then you have the Resaca acting as a buffer between the neighborhood and these apartments. So
Rick,
that's the site.
The homeowner association is clear that by law, I mean, you've sat on our board, so you know that by law, only 200 feet get the notice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that white people didn't show up to the P&Z.
No, yeah, but in other words, I don't want citizens to think that they were cheated out of the process, especially the people that are living within
I
your.
understand, but what I'm just trying to say is the 200 feet only went to the first.
Only went to the, exactly.
And on this side, so only
Yeah.
the property owners along the Resaca got notice.
But the rest of the people on your homeowners association know that, in other words, why they didn't get a notice, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But now that they know about it, that's why they're all.
Yeah. Now, this is coming build to suit. He's not exactly going commercial right away, is he?
No, not along.
Is the developer here?
Yes, he is here.
Has there been contemplation on working another entrance or exit through the commercial use? Or was that ever discussed with P&Z?
That was not a discussion.
Dear Tony Martinez and the commissioners, my name is Oscar Chavez and I'm the engineer for the project. I'm not the developer. But this is the site plan that we have been working off of, and it's only one exit to Laredo Road and
Mr.
also-
Chavez, would your client have, I don't know, opposition to giving us another entrance exit through the proposed commercial build?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We
See,
can-
that's something that I would ask, because congestion being one of the main priorities as far as Laredo Road.
Mhm.
I have to tell you, and I have to be honest with the homeowners association, and I'm not usually a homeowners association's favorite person, but I do, as a city commissioner, I do need to look after the city. And a project of this magnitude coming in is what I'm here to do. I'm here to provide the city with projects like this that are gonna bring money into my tax base. And this is a perfect example, especially with the way we're looking at the trends where people have been losing their homes. Now, at the prices that you all have, it looks like a very, this is coming out of pocket. It's a wonderful from what I see. But my only concern, and that's why I'm asking you, and I want to ask you in front of the homeowner association, is would your client be willing to give us another entrance and exit through the proposed commercial site?
I'm pretty sure that we can provide that.
It seems
I mean-
like maybe the most prudent thing to do at this time would be to table it. Looks like it's premature to take any action on this, because I'm going to tell you, you better be careful with the West Rail project and the projected inlines, and then you really, if you can get a traffic impact study to go along with this, and then, you know, I don't want to put the owner on the spot right now and say, are you going to do that right now?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be an expensive project to do a street. I mean, I've done those. So, you know, I'm saying that we're probably a little premature, and I'm not, just a thought for the commission.
Rick,
I
would
think-
you all be willing to go into a open-minded discussion with the developer and try to come to a consensus?
Sit down at the table and talk to them.
I would make a motion to table the item so that the parties can discuss and further
Public hearing.
discuss.
It's a public
Oh, it's a
hearing.
public hearing.
Are we done?
Move to close.
Move to close.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Move to table?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll be tabling, you all get together, let's see what y'all can do. Thank you, Mr.
Good
Sayas,
luck.
thank you, Mr. Chavez.
Great points.
We have no public comments.
Okay, item
Aye.
number 15.
Item number 15, consideration and action on resolution number 2014-041 for an interlocal agreement between the City of Brownsville and the City of Johnson County, Texas.
Hi, Norma.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The City of Brownsville Metro is the lead agency in a joint procurement contract with Gillick LLC of Hayward, California for delivery of transit buses. Brownsville Metro is requesting the consent of the City Commission to authorize an interlocal agreement between the City of Brownsville and the City of Johnson County, Kansas, for the assignment of 5 buses under this cooperative agreement for Johnson County Transit.
Okay,
Move to approve.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you, Norma.
Thank you.
Item 16, consideration and action on resolution number 2014-042 to adopt the National Association of City Transportation Officials Urban Street Guide, Design Guide and Urban Bikeway Design Guide as resources for guidance on the development of bicycle facilities in the City of Brownsville.
Mayor, Commissioners, we're here today to adopt the NECTO into the City of Brownsville. We have Ramiro and Fernando Bike Texas has been working on this, and we'd like to have a little display. Ramiro, we'll show the presentation on this. That way you have a better idea what is it about.
Mayor, this is the National Association of City Transportation Officials design guidelines for creating streets, more livable streets that that not only look at cars but bikes, pedestrians, and buses and alternative transportation. So what is NACTO? Their bikeway design. The purpose of NACTO is to provide cities with state-of-the-art practice solutions that can help create complete streets. And really, it's based on the experience of the best cycling cities in the world. So New York and a lot of other cities in the country. In fact, just today, El Paso adopted these guidelines a couple of hours ago, from my understanding. So it really is about creating the best bike facilities that you can, and really creating the best streets for this city. And these are some of the examples that are in this guideline. This picture in the middle is Ray LaHood, and the Secretary of Transportation, who supports NACTO, who supports implementing this. There are efforts to include this in the federal guidelines of developing streets. So you see your typical bike facilities, your green lanes, your separated bikeways, and this is a picture of New York, a project in New York that they've done. So really, it's about creating a guideline for not just planners, but transportation and city management to follow when developing new streets or repaving streets or bike lanes and everything else. So as you can see, this is a transect of what a street would look like when following these guidelines. And you can see a lot of activity here, protected pedestrian ways, buses, medians, bike lanes, and the sort, a lot of landscaping. So once again, these are guidelines, but these are some guidelines that we want to follow in Brownsville when we are doing these things. So we really ask for your approval and your adoption tonight, so that we can continue to do what we've done, but now, following a set of guidelines.
I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 17, excuse me. Consideration and action on resolution number 2014-043 to support the nomination of VHS Brownsville Hospital Company LLC as a Texas Enterprise project pursuant to the Texas Enterprise Zone Act, Chapter 2303 of the Texas Government Code.
So this is a request by the Brownsville Economic Development Corporation for the City Commission to support under the Texas Enterprise Zone Incentive Program, the Valley Baptist Health System incentive. My understanding is Valley Baptist wants to invest about $5 to $6 million in the next 2-3 years at their facilities in Brownsville. And this is one of the ways that they are able to afford that if they do receive this enterprise designation and incentive. We've done this before. We did it, I believe, either a year or two ago. We did it for Valley Regional. And once again, this is just a letter of resolution supporting them. I believe Mr. Manivella was here earlier, and he fully supports it. And he asked for your approval, the EDC asked for your approval, and we asked for your approval. So,
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 18, consideration and action to authorize the City of Brownsville Fire Department to donate obsolete equipment to the City of H. Matamoros, Tamaulipas, Mexico.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, we're here before you to ask your permission to donate obsolete gear that we cannot use anymore to the City of Matamoros. This is gear that doesn't meet the standards anymore, and they're in great need of this particular items.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny.
Item 19, consideration and action to reject proposals received for the branding and marketing services contract.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, Evaluation Committee staff would like to recommend rejecting proposals received for branding and marketing services contract. The committee composed of Mr. Pete Gonzalez, Michael Jones, Alex Lorio, James McCoy, and also Commissioner Portillo as an observer, would like to recommend rejecting these proposals due to the lack of participation from national firms, and then post again and try to get proposals again.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 20, consideration and action to request authorization to renew a term contract for uniforms for the Brownsville Public Works Department.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners. Tonight, we're requesting authorization for an extension to renew a term contract for uniforms from Cintas Corporation from Mercedes, Texas, for the City of Brownsville Public Works Department. The original contract first started back in 2011 with the option to extend the life of the contract for 4 additional 12-month periods at the original quote. This will be the third extension of the original contract, and funding will diverge from 704 wearing apparel accounts from departments of 418, 44, 415, and 44, 424.
When was the last time that this was sent out for bids?
It was, the original was in 2011, ma'am.
I would like to suggest that maybe we go out for bids. I think this is on the third extension on this contract.
Yes, we originally went out for, it was every year we're coming up to the commission for ask for an extension.
No, but I think this would be a good time to maybe get additional new bids on this. It's, the last time we went out was in 2011.
Yes, ma'am.
The contract calls for 3 extensions.
Yeah.
This will be the final extension.
we would go out for proposals.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
How many
Any
nays?
Hmm?
Just one?
Motion carries.
So to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.